Hello, parents and second grade families. My name is Melissa Zorbas. I am your child's teacher for the 2020 2021 school year. This is my 24th year teaching, and I'm very experienced working with second graders in the lower elementary. And I am fortunate to have a team member, Michaela Hodgkin, as the second grade in person teacher. And I work very closely with Diane McLean, my usual partner when we are in school regularly, and Miss Sarah Wolf, who is the special education teacher. Mrs. McLean is supporting the second grade students with language, and she is working in our classroom significantly during the day to do so. So they are members of our team as well. Our schedule is pretty typical, and you can find this right on the Bartlett webpage. Our homeroom starts at 7:50, and school goes until about 2:10. Now, this is a work in progress because the children work with so many different adults. This is what the schedule looks like, but there's times when we have to make tweaks, and it will always be updated here for you. I have to stop and say that you are doing fabulous. Without your help, I would not have children in school on time. They wouldn't be coming back after breaks. Your communication remind is amazing, and that's the best way to get in touch with me. I do have an email. But in the moment, it is best to use the Remind app just like everybody is doing. If I don't answer you right away, it's because I am teaching, and I constantly have my phone with me just in case I do need to support parents in the moment. I can't always do it right away, but I am there available for you when you need me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Now, there's a couple of things that I feel are really important for you to know. Again, you are doing great. I have 29 children coming to school every day in our classroom. And again, I couldn't do it without the teachers that I work very closely with. Keep in mind, it is important for your child to show up at time, because once we start, we go into different breakout rooms in areas where the kids are working within groups for the needs that they have. So sometimes you might get stuck waiting in a waiting room, or if there's a glitch in the system, that's usually what happens. But you've been fabulous communicating while your child is waiting. I will continue. Again, if you want to know what's going on in school, this is the schedule that we're using. But I always try to update and remind what your child should be doing and when they need to return. One of the most important expectations that I have is just being there. If you're there, you can learn. If you're not, you're going to miss out on a lot. So that's my number one expectation. The second one is when we do go off and work, it is important for your child to come back at the assigned time. Again, I do know we have technical difficulties, but it's just, again, if you're present, you're learning. And that's why I have that strict rule. It's not, I don't feel like going to specials today, so I'm going to skip out on gym or music or art or whatever it may be. Those subjects are really important too, because some of your children really excel in those areas, and it's good for them to be good at something and for them to develop a like towards something other than academics, just so they have strengths in areas too. What you need to know is I think less is more. You will notice that I use the word must-dos a lot in math, and I might say to you when it's time to go do a phonics sort, you have to do at least 5 of each, and anything on top of that is a bonus. I can get a feel for where your child is at if they are working independently, meaning they're doing the work by themselves, and I don't need them to do several different examples of the same thing for me to see what they know. So as long as you're present and your child is working to their potential, that's all I care about. Those are the most important expectations. Now, we have a couple of things. So here's I wanted to show you the screen on where to find what the schedule is. And once I have this more definitive, I am going to put little cameras so you know the main times your children really need to be there. If there's a doctor's appointment and things come up, please just send me a message like some of you have been doing. And then you know that you don't just take the whole day off. The child needs to come back once the appointment is done, and they can log on right through here. The next thing I want to show you is Clever. Clever is the hub where your child has their badge. Their badge is connected to their computer. The computers have been programmed for your child with their LACID number and their date of birth. Their LACID number is their number that's associated with their name, and it will go all the way up through high school as long as you're in Lowell Public Schools. So that number is a number the child should probably know, and they will learn over time because they'll continuously have to use it. Again, their computer has been kind of set up to match their LACID number, especially when they log into Clever. When they go into Clever, and if you look at my cursor, the seesaw is where I assign a lot of the work, and I will show you that in a little while. ST Math is a math program that we use, and it's something that I can go on and see how the child is progressing in different concepts. The iReady is a really important site too that we will be using. Starting the week of October 19th, Monday the 19th, your child is going to be taking a test that will happen 3 times a year. The test is for them to do it independently. Independently means you can't sit by your child and give them the answers or tell them it's okay if they make mistakes, because it's good for me to see what their strengths and weaknesses are so I can address that in my teaching, and they will get the support for their weaknesses in their small groups. After the week of the 19th, they will take this time test, and it might take them several times. And it's timed, and each time they log off, they do not have to do it in one sitting. Each time they log off, it will kind of mark the place in the test, and then it will continue the next time they log on. And then I can monitor by logging into their account and see who's done and who's not done. The week of October 26th, they'll be doing the exact same thing, but for math. I can't stress enough. So I've told you that my expectation is your child needs to show up. They need to be where they need to be at the times that I give. They need to complete their assignments. And I told you less is more. I firmly believe that if your child shows me what they can do well, I don't need 25 different examples for them to do that. And finally, the children need to be independent. It's okay for you to be a support when your child gets stuck and just ask them a question to support it. But it's really critical that when they're taking these tests and they're reading and writing, that you just can ask questions to help them think about what they're doing, but you never just give the answer. If you give them the answer, I will be scoring a test that you're taking, not what your child is taking. And remember, the only appointment of tests and quizzes and assessments is for the teacher to see how well he or she taught something or where your child needs a little extra work and support. We're constantly looking at this as teachers and just making sure your child gets what they need, or I beef up my teaching where I need to do so. So that's going to be coming the week of the 19th and 26th. And if you could support your child by letting them do it themselves, that would be great. And finally, down here is a Raz Kids icon too. And this is the website where we'll be housing their electronic books. And we will also be doing listening to them read. There'll be a recording for them to take this coming week, actually, and it will place where they are in their own tests, in their own reading level. And that way, when they are reading, they're reading books that are just right for them. And I will be instructing them based on the data that their reading will show me. So I will constantly be looking at their work and figuring out what I need to do better and how I can support your child. That goes for challenging them too. If I see that your child has a major strength, then I need to make sure that I guide them into their learning with pushing them forward too. And the last thing I want to talk about is Seesaw. Again, Seesaw is where your child's work is. And you can, when you see, let me just see if I can move this over a little bit. When you look at my screen and you see the children's names, it will tell you how many items your child has worked on and how many items they're missing. You can find that right here all in their journal. And again, you can communicate with me and Remind. I will tell your children every week through Remind to you how if your child has been going on and not doing it, or I'm trying to give them time. The structure of the day is where we have a lesson in reading. They go off and do something independently, and then we come back and talk about it. And then from there, I look at their work closely and give them feedback. So I'm going to click on the sample student. And when you look, there's a place. This was something I modeled for them. So I always model too. I show them what they have to do, what their must-dos are. And there's a place here in the comment area. And that's where I provide feedback for your child. And I can either accept their assignment, or sometimes I give them feedback and I send it back to them. And say, can you fix this for me? For instance, I noticed that you put the word city under the hard C sound, but it's a soft C sound. Can you look at it? Where do you think you should put it? So they will get an update in their account if there's something that I've asked them to redo, or I might put a challenge question in there and say to them, I notice you did this really quickly. Can you do this for me? And then it's a way for us to communicate, and it's a way for me to score it, look at their work closely to see how they're getting it or what they're struggling with. And it's so important for your child to get feedback. So I'm showing them to look there and to pay attention to what they're doing and what they're not doing. And I'll always tell them what their work assignment is. Sometimes I just want them to use their whiteboard. Other times we're in paper, and some other times we're on the platform. My goal is to make this a successful year. I feel like I'm the luckiest teacher in the world, having this opportunity to teach so many different children. They're wonderful. They all have these beautiful smiles and faces that just makes my day every day I get to see them. Again, communicate with me anytime you need to talk to me. Remind is the best way. The only thing I want to talk to you too about is, although I've been teaching for the 24 years, this is the first time I've ever taught remotely. I have wonderful families and parents. I am blessed to have such a strong team of teachers that I work with. And I just need you to be aware that if you hear something, or you're walking by the computer and you hear something that you like, shoot me an email or shoot me a remind message and let me know that, that was a good thing. And if there's something that you hear that you don't like, there's definitely a way to go about that. We have to be mindful about there are 29 children on the screen. You cannot put anything in the chat or just come on the screen. Remember, it's our classroom. I would not allow any parent to just walk into my classroom in school, because we have to have ground rules and a very healthy way of communicating. I'm loving how all of you are communicating with me. It's just a friendly reminder that this is an open platform with lots of families. We're live that can see and hear, and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, but I'm open to very healthy discussions to talk about the best way that I can support your child. Definitely not in the moment. So I would appreciate that support and positivity. It's the only way that's going to get us through this. We're a team. I'm happy to be on your team, and just know that I'm just a regular person outside of being a teacher. We probably have a lot in common. I'm a mom too, a parent too of children, and I'm pretty experienced with being a mom and supporting children with IEPs and language needs. So let's work together and continue the communication. And I look forward to a great school year. Any questions? I will be live in Zoom on Thursday night. Just fire me any questions ahead of time that I can clear up for you. And again, I'm so happy that I am your child's teacher for second grade for the 2020-2021 school year. Thanks so much.